classical in your blood, and then you have to culture whatever you have and work very, very hard for many, many years.
German parents have... You were just telling me, let's share it with the viewers, you were telling me that what were you saying? You were saying German parents have sort of gone soft on their kids these days. They've decided not to apply the pressure that's always part of the equation, and the people who are under the pressure that have the real discipline are elsewhere now in the world.
Well, basically what I did say is that when I was at Juilliard, because I just saw the little kids, you know, the Asian kid, there were, of course, a lot of Asian tiny violinist students or cello students, and they traveled over the weekend to do pre-college, 5, 6, 7 years old, and you know, they were very, very tough on the kids, and you know, I'm still trying to figure out if that is really, really necessary. I mean, in my case, my parents were very tough on me and did make me practice a lot and did force it, you know, when I didn't want to do it. But I'm still trying to debate if that's really necessary, if it's a good thing or a bad thing.
It's a tough one, isn't it?
It's a tough one, because in the end, yes, the older you get, the more this is really something which was necessary in the end. I wouldn't be where I am right now without it.
Exactly.
On the other hand, it's, you know, it's a sacrifice.
But you were a natural, weren't you? I mean, the story goes, your brother got a violin, you wanted one, he was getting lessons at the age of 4, you had your violin, you ran off, and in a couple of weeks you were playing with it.
Well, it's always good to be a natural, but that doesn't really, well, you still have to practice. There's no way you can just be a natural. That's the basic thing. You have to have the talent, and on top of that, you got to work. Talent alone is not going to get you anywhere.
Okay, so you were a young guy, you were living in a world of adults in very, very many ways, and at some stage you were exposed to rock and roll.
Rock and roll, yeah.
What was that like?
Well, in my household and with my parents, it was almost you know, like, you know, something which wasn't really something you should listen to. It was more classical, you know, which, you know, I always felt that it's unfortunate that, you know, people always think either classical or rock and never really see the both of those beautiful worlds. And so, of course, the first time I bought, like, I think my first album was from Queen, Night at the Opera, which I just, you know, constantly listened to and loved it. You know, fell in love with, you know, e-guitar, with like the huge rock arrangements, especially in the 70s.
The power of it.
Sorry?
The power of it,
and also the connection to classical music, if you, the arrangements.
The question is, what is classical music? You know, is in 50 years' time, is Pink Floyd going to be classical music?
I would say, who knows, you know. But I mean, in general, I think the great thing about classical music, it is the fundament of whatever we listen. And if you listen to R&B, if you listen to rock, there are so many elements which I've been taking out of classical music that, you know, it's good to know where music is coming from. So that's why I'm promoting it.
Your great teacher, the violinist Itzhak Perlman. What would he say about what you're doing today?
Oh, he's very fond of what I'm doing. I mean, in his youth, he did quite a lot of, maybe not rock projects, but he did a lot of like crossover projects himself. And I think you know, he would tell you that as long as you do a good job on playing them, you can play anything. Same with Pavarotti, you know, he had a great voice. Even if he did something where people maybe said, why is he not singing Puccini? He knows that best. He still pulled it off very, very well, because he had this, you know, he had quality in his voice. And I think if you can play the violin properly, it's something Perlman wouldn't say, don't do it.
Change of direction, David. I asked you already, German-American. Are you more German or American? Give me the answer again there.
Probably more German.
More German. As a German, are you an Ossi, somebody from the east of Germany, or a Wessi, somebody from the west of Germany?
Couldn't even give you an answer because I don't see a difference.
You don't see a difference?
No.
So you're very much of your generation here in Germany. Okay, we're going to be talking